Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fandomology, where fandoms collide. And we are back with yet another open panel stream. And tonight's topic is what makes good comedy. So I'm going to go ahead and put the link to join in the chat. All right, paste that, and we are good to go. So that is going to get pinned in the chat as usual. And of course, make sure you guys are aware of the rules before you come on in. The rules are in the description. Make sure you are aware of those. And we'll get right into this. So this topic, what makes good comedy? Okay, sorry about that. I was actually just listening to myself just briefly there. Seems like my voice is clipping a little bit. By the way, if my voice sounds rough, I said this on Tuesday, but I had a cold this week. I'm still not 100% over that, but I definitely feel a lot better than I did earlier in the week, and so we're here. So the topic that we're talking about tonight, what makes good comedy? I got to give a shout out to Glenn, who of course has joined us on past open panel streams, and he is kind of the idea behind this. In fact, it was his suggestion. And what makes good comedy is honestly a very open-ended question, which I think is kind of fun because we could take it a whole bunch of different directions, because there's all sorts of different types of comedy. There's all sorts of different sources of comedy. In fact, the guy who brought this idea to the table is here, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring him in. Glenn, what's up?
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. I was just talking about how basically this stream was your idea and how the topic is kind of an open-ended one that we could take in a bunch of different directions here.
And it's one of my favorite types of genres when it comes to movies and TV shows and stuff.
Absolutely. But of course, it goes well beyond that too, because basically what makes good comedy is just a overbloated way of asking, well, what do you find funny?
Pretty much.
So let's get right into that. Is that your wife in the background?
Fiance. We're not married yet.
Oh,
Don't
sorry.
get too antsy, mister.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
But
you're
anyways,
good.
Also, is that a bird in the background? I hear a squeaking noise on your end.
Yeah, I got a bird in the kitchen.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. All right. Well, anyways, let's start with.
I'm Ace Ventura, dude.
Oh, I gotcha. So let's start with, where does comedy even come from? And for me, and I got this from the Nostalgia Critic a few years ago, and he basically put it like this. People, at least from his point of view, tend to use comedy as a defense mechanism, because comedy humor is usually had at the expense of someone / something. Real quick, Virginia asks, is the bird in the kitchen a normal pet or a new adventure you haven't gotten rid of yet?
That is my uncle's cockatiel named Buddy.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, I'm Ace Ventura here. 3 dogs. I had 4, but 1 passed. 2 cats, 2 birds.
Oh, nice. So anyways, like I was saying, comedy seems to be a defense mechanism, because most jokes, most humor is always at the expense of either something or someone, even if it's yourself.
Oh, definitely.
So why do you think that is?
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, sometimes comedy to me, say someone gets hit below the belt, I think it's hilarious.
Okay.
But if it's directed towards me and I get hit below the belt, it's not, unfortunately.
Right. I think what it is to me is that not only is it's a defense mechanism, but it's also a form of relatability. Like something bad has happened to someone, but we're able to spin it in a way of I get that because I know what that's like. It's kind of like how, again, using your example, seeing a nut shot, every guy immediately is like, oh, but at the same time we're laughing at it because we know, right?
Mm. Ain't
Or
nothing funny like a good old fashioned shot to the crotch.
yeah, or is there, by the way, a way that you could get the bird to be quiet?
Uh, pro- Probably not, unfortunately, unless we cover the bird.
Is there a way you could do that?
Hold on just a second. I will be right back.
Okay, I'm gonna take you off the screen while you're gone. Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So, anyways, going back to what I was saying with that, another way to do it, and of course, this is a very relatable one too, that me and of course all my coworkers have experienced, um, is hold on. When you have a bad day at work, and oh, Glenn's back. All good?
Boo. Just had to cover the bird with the blanket. That'll shut her up. Shut him up a little bit.
All right, thank you.
No
So,
problem, man.
going back to the relatability aspect of comedy, think about this. You've had a bad day at work, right? And of course, talking about bad days at work, everyone's got bad days at work. And so we know what that's like. Like, for example,
Definitely.
me talking to Virginia or to Trevor or Nate or whoever else about my bad days at work, we can laugh at it because we know what that's like. Or say, you talking about your bad days at work, even though you work at a different place than me, we can still imagine what it's like.
Yeah, it ain't all sunshine and rainbows when it comes to work. I mean,
Unfortunately.
I've had my good days. I've had my bad days. I've had my days where I just want to beat the living snot out of people, but I hold back. I mean, I've been there for 10 years as of Monday.
Oh wow, happy anniversary.
Donkey, donkey. But that another thing about comedy to relate to the bad days at work,
Mm-hmm.
you can look back on it and laugh. It's like it's just a funny memory in per se.
Yeah. Yeah, like a way of saying, wow, that sucked in the moment, but looking back on it in hindsight, it wasn't that big a deal.
Exactly. I mean,
And then,
uh,
and so I think that, and of course, there's all sorts of ways that we can talk about the human struggle, and I think that's ultimately what humor is, that trying to spin the human struggle from the everyday monotony to the tragic in dark instances, and trying to put a positive light on
mm,
it as a coping mechanism. And so that has translated, of course, into our media, whether it's print media via books or comics, or visual media, bless you, be it movies, TV shows, or video games. In
yep,
fact,
and
certain
there.
people, in fact, a certain group of people, stand-up comedians, have made an entire career about
Def,
pointing out the humorous things about their lives or the world around them that they either find weird or find flawed. Like, for example, one of my favorite stand-up comedians of all time, rest his soul, John Panette, he would just talk about himself and his life and just the different weird things that he did. And of course, he was one of the bigger comedians. I mean bigger in body size. So of course, he talked a lot about his struggles with his weight, and of course, struggles of being a comedian out on the road. And it's part of, and of course, part of his, his delivery and his tone of voice, that all adds into it too. But that's part
definitely.
of But that's also part of it, because what would you think is funnier? Me just talking monotone like this, talking about how I had a bad day at work, or me like playing it up, like, oh my god, I can't believe this happened at work. This person basically just flipped me the middle finger and yada yada, like playing it up for effect.
I would rather you play it up because if you do like monotone robot, you sound like the freaking teacher off of Charlie Brown, and you'd lose the audience definitely.
Right.
I mean, to tell you, my favorite comedian of all time is Gabriel Iglesias. He is
I
funny
love
as
him.
hell.
I
He
love
is
him.
fun. He is funny as hell. I've got 3 of his specials on DVD. I about pee myself laughing so damn hard. And he's talked about his weight. He's talked about like he's talked about some racial stuff, or
Mm-hmm.
talk
Real
about
quick, real quick,
his
Glenn.
wife, his family.
We got another guest, and I'm going to go ahead and bring him on here. And I want to say thank you to this gentleman for coming on here, because it's been a while. Welcome, old man. How's it going?
Oh my
Hello.
god, it's Santa Claus! Oh my god, it's Santa Claus in the plaid jacket.
For some strange reason, I'm not hearing you.
Oh, that's weird. You might want to check your audio settings, old man, if you have that.
Are you at the North Pole, Santa?
Here.
Oh my lord, he does look like Santa.
It's funny you say that, Glenn. He is actually a mall Santa around Christmas time.
Oh, that's nice.
Old man, how's it going?
Oh, I'm on the side of the soil.
Oh my god, it's Santa Claus in the plaid jacket.
Oh, hey,
some
old man,
reason,
you've
I'm not
got
hearing
you've
you.
got the YouTube app pulled up in the background. Shut that down. You might want to check your audio settings, old man, if you have that.
Are you at the North Pole, Santa?
Only when I have to be.
Oh my lord, you look like Santa.
It's funny you say that, Glenn. He is actually a mall Santa around Christmas time.
Oh, that's nice.
Old man, how's it going?
Oh, I'm on the side of the soil.
Oh my god, it's Santa Claus in the plaid jacket.
Oh, hey. All right, that should have gotten it fixed. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, perfect.
Where's your reindeer?
Anyways, how you doing?
I'm not bad at all. Right now, they're up hanging around where Chernobyl is. They want to be able to all blow it.
You sure you ain't got no elves there? I'm playing. Okay, I'm gonna stop with the Santa jokes. I'm sorry, dude.
All right. Hey, if anything, it's fitting with the theme of the stream tonight.
Well, I was hoping.
So, how you been lately, old man?
Disappointing a lot of people by still being alive.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm sure we could all relate to that in some ways. But
you see a vehicle following you, you got to double look to make sure it's not a hearse.
Yeah, I definitely believe you on that. So, what we're talking about tonight, what makes good comedy? And we've kind of been talking up to this point about just where comedy even comes from. And Virginia here says it best here. She says, Scottish comedian Daniel Sloss, which never heard of him, I probably said that wrong, words it as trying to bring humanity, laughter back to a tragedy, death, in his special, talking about the aftermath of his sister dying. So basically, comedy is trying to make light of bad situations, whether it's the everyday mundane disappointments all the way up to something big and tragic.
Yeah, the old saying goes, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
Look at Naked Gun. How much humor in there was related to nasty, evil things?
Well, I'll be honest, I have not seen that, but I'm sure quite a bit.
Okay. Naked Gun has a little bit of humor in there. You got Leslie Nielsen in it. right off the bat. And what a lot of people don't know is Leslie Nielsen, even back when he was a superstar in sci-fi movies, playing straight men, had a wild sense of humor. He was notoriously known for his whoopee cushion.
I can imagine.
You know,
Who doesn't like a good old whoopee cushion fart?
can you imagine you're on the set of the planet, whatever it was again, Forbidden Planet,
Forbidden Planet, yes.
and you're one of the co-stars in there. You sit down at the break table and you hear a whoopee cushion go off. That kind of ruins that heavy atmosphere.
I'm laughing, old man, because it reminds me of something that Virginia had told me that happened one time. So she told me about how she was in this one room in the caverns as part of her job, and this, I guess, 4-year-old girl walks through with her family, and they hear the organ and such. And as the family's getting ready to leave, for whatever reason, the 4-year-old girl looks at Virginia, starts just randomly slapping her bottom, going for no reason. So,
I can tell
It's silly.
I was in Norway, and this beautiful young Norwegian girl comes up, asks me to dance with her.
Mhm.
And of course, I'm sitting there with my Norwegian friends and my wife. They all say, "Yeah, go ahead." So I go. I dance with her. I come back. I sit down. I say, "Well, how was it?" They go, "Well, hun smakka very good," which all had them in hysterics. What I wanted to say was, "Hun snacka very good." Speaks very good English, in other words. But however, what I actually said was, "Hun smakka very good." She tastes very good.
Oh no!
Oh, hell no!
And you said that with your wife around. Oh my god!
Oh damn!
I mean, they were. Everybody had tears coming out of their eyes on that one.
I believe it.
And the only other one I can tell you about is, here I am at an event. Something nasty happens to me.
Mhm.
Oh man, does that hurt? And I'm going to let loose.
Yeah.
I look around and see these little kids there. So I'm in the U.S. I let loose with profanity and what have you in Norwegian.
Mm-hmm.
Here it comes, folks. One sweet little girl, about maybe 5 years old, comes up and looks at me and says, "You shouldn't talk like that."
Oh no! Shame on you, old man, for corrupting the youth.
Well, she said that.
Oh,
Oh
my god!
And it's like,
damn!
where's the hole that the ants come into that place from? It'll be big enough for me to crawl into.
I can imagine. But you know what? You know what? That right there, those two stories you just told, that is at least a good source of real life comedy. Just the right line at the right moment. Just like you say the right thing at the right moment, and it just sets everyone off. And the trick is, how do you write that into a story?
Well, that's the one part you have to think about. If you say something, well, let's face it, somewhere along the line, somebody's going to find it humorous.
Mm-hmm.
How you take that and put it into it. Now, the Baron and I were driving along, throwing stuff back and forth at each other.
Okay.
Well, we get to the house, and he starts talking humorously about having the Presbyterian Church and the Elvis Church.
Okay.
People that follow the old Elvis and those that follow the new Elvis.
Okay.
You know, and then in the life of the afterlife of the gods, you know, some people come up there looking for Elvis.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going, okay, you know, he says, well, They go through the whole place. They can't find them. As these people are leaving to get in their spaceship to go away, from behind a curtain, you hear, "Thank you very much."
Okay.
Well, now what's even funnier is the next day, I'm listening to Paul Harvey. Here's an idiot.
That name sounds familiar. Who's he again?
He was a news commentary and all kinds of stuff.
Oh.
Paul Harvey News. On page 1. Well, anyhow, on there, he tells about how he's just shocked and horrified that it was just announced hours before he came on the show that they had started the Presbyterian Church.
Okay.
Now you're driving along, and he says they just started a Presbyterian Church, which was what we were talking about the day before in humor. I almost wrecked the car.
So basically just a funny coincidence.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, that's honestly, again, that's another great example of real life comedy. So looking at that and how you put that into a story, there's of course different ways that you can make comedy in any form of story, whether print media or especially visual media. One of the most famous and oldest type of comedies is slapstick comedy, physical comedy. People
Abbott and Costello, Three Stooges.
People like the Three Stooges, like I'm gonna poke you in the eye, boink, and stuff like that.
Slowly I turned, step by step.
Yeah. Or again, Glenn, you said it early, a uppercut where you don't want it to on a guy.
Hit right to the nether regions.
Mm-hmm. By the way, hello to Resolute Rebellion saying, "Hey, y'all, happy Friday. Paul, hope you feel better. Jumping in the car. We'll listen there." Thank you. I'm actually feeling a lot better. And hello to Jeff, who says he's here. Awesome. And nice Glam Rock Bonnie picture. So, what would y'all say is some good examples, aside from the Three Stooges, because we already mentioned them, what would y'all say is some good examples of slapstick comedy?
Abbott and Costello.
That's what I was about to say.
Okay.
Who's on first? Definitely.
I'm older. It comes to my mind quicker.
Okay.
Of course, Santa.
Now, I am only familiar with the 7 times 13 is 28 bit. So what about Abbott and Costello makes them good specifically at slapstick?
Ooh. I'm trying to remember the one where they were on a boat. It was
the only one that I can recall is Who's On First, because in school I did that in like I don't know if it was like a freaking activity we were doing, and then I've listened to the Who's On First on Pandora.
Yeah.
When it
go ahead.
When it comes to slapstick, it's just like ordinary piddly jokes. Like they're like, oh, I don't know who's on first. Okay, who's on second? What? And then they just like, what do you mean what, or something like that. I can't recall. It just keeps rambling on with like dumb jokes, kind of.
Right. See, myself, the slapstick comedy I'm most familiar with is the animated slapstick. Like, for example, Tom and Jerry. You know, all the different ways that of course, Tom gets abused as Jerry's running away from him. Same thing with Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. Same thing with Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd and Daffy Duck. You know, the whole Wabbit season, Duck season, all that stuff.
Ducky's on fire!
Or how about the one Bugs Bunny got an Academy Award for?
Which one?
What's Opera, Doc?
Which one is
I
that
don't think-
again?
Yeah, what's opera, Doc?
Oh, that one. I remember that one.
During opera.
Okay.
And then there was also that one chick with foghorn leghorn, that little brown
Oh,
chick bird that always beats
Chicken
him
Hawk.
up. Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah.
Foghorn leghorn, the chicken hawk, and then
Jet Sparks mentions the Little Rascals shorts from Hal Roach, and Virginia says, slapstick comedy made me think I was going to be hit in the face with pies a lot more than I have in life.
yeah, it's the set.
Yeah, that's another classic gag, the pie to the face.
Pie to the face, slipping on a banana peel.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
Stubbing
reason
your-
banana peels have made it
Charlie
into Mario
Chaplin.
Kart. Or
What'd
the
you say,
classic
dude?
bit.
Charlie Chaplin.
Oh, yep, Charlie
That's a good one.
Chaplin.
Or there's of course the classic bit where the character runs off the edge of something but doesn't realize they're gonna fall until they look down.
That's like Wile E. Coyote, the whole where he plummets to his alleged death, and it's like, and then.
Mhm. But again, but again, it goes back to what I said before. All of these are painful situations that if happened to us in real life, wouldn't be funny to those experiencing it, but to those witnessing it, I mean, how many times have you said to one of your friends, if you get hurt, I'm going to help you, but then I'm going to laugh, or some variation of that? That's why.
If you fall, well, that's like my favorite Disney character of all time is Goofy, and good lord, he's had a lot of stuff happen to him, from like getting blown away, and every time he falls, all you hear is
that was a very good impression, by the way, Glenn.
And it's like, it's simple things like that bring the audience to like laughing their tails off, and
Yes.
like I said,
Also, Chris, if you're watching, you should 100% clip that shot of Glenn screaming like Goofy.
The one that, when you stop to think about, during my youth, they had something called the Mickey Mouse Club.
Right.
And on the Mickey Mouse Club, they used to have Jiminy Cricket come in and go, with words of wisdom, I'm no fool. I'm going to live to be 103.
Mm-hmm.
All the different things. And in there, you see Goofy on a bicycle wandering all over into traffic. Bam! You know, don't do that. You know,
Right.
Fool.
It's all. I mean, it is silly things like that, like, oh, this ain't gonna hurt a bit. Bam! Or told you not hurt a bit.
That's one of the things I like. Roadrunner, they never spoke. The only thing he ever got out of the Roadrunner was beep beep.
Mm-hmm.
And never out of Wile E. Coyote. The only one that I laughed myself to sick in this cartoon, he'd gone off the cliff about half a dozen times.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, it's coming to the end of the cartoon. He goes off the end of the cliff. He's falling. He pulls up a sign and says, "Could we please end this before I hit the ground?"
Yeah, that's funny. Well, let me. Since we're on the topic of Looney Tunes, how about Sylvester and Tweety? Every time Sylvester's tried his damnedest to get that freaking canary, he always ends up failing terribly, and whether freaking it's an elaborate plan or not, Sylvester always tries so darn hard in order to try to get Tweety Bird, or else either his plan's gonna fail, or Granny's gonna kick his hind end.
Here's the thing with that, Glenn. It's pretty much the same formula as Wile and the and the Roadrunner, Tom and Jerry, Yogi and the
Mm-hmm.
picnic baskets. It's some eccentric entity wants something, and they will go pretty much to hell and back to get it. In some
Yeah,
cases, actually go to hell, because remember that one episode where Tom died from basically getting crushed with a piano, and
mm-hmm.
to get to heaven, he had to get Jerry to forgive him, but he doesn't, and then that would traumatize me as a kid. Also, hello, Jet Sparks.
Hey, Jeff
Hello,
Sparks, how you doing,
and
bud?
on the subject, hey old man, good to see you. Yeah, and on the subject of that very, very dark and morbid episode of Tom and Jerry, yeah, it truly is scary that you have to forgive your worst enemy if you're gonna go to heaven. If you don't, well, straight down to the boiler room.
Yeah.
Oh, you going to hell?
But another thing that's also pretty sad you find out is that literally somebody tried to drown a bag full of baby kittens. It's just like, my God.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some error there. I mean, that one was just dark. Not also the other one where Tom's girlfriend left him. He did everything he could to win her affection, and she ended up picking some guy who was obviously better than he was. And the same thing happened to Jerry, and just ended with them just sitting on the train track and waiting for the train to hit them.
Right. Virginia here says, I see your Looney Tunes and raise you the episode of Supernatural where they have a curse and everything is real life with cartoon logic. Real pistols have a flag that pops out that says POW on it.
Well, that's like the whole gun bit. Like they said, it's just pow. It's just a bang. Or I'll point it to you for a wrestling's perspective. If you've ever watched that, I don't know if it was like Monday Night Raw. Yeah, it was Monday Night Raw. Stone Cold Steve Austin wheels
I know
out
exactly what you're talking about.
Vince McMahon while he's in a wheelchair.
Yes.
Points one of those prop guns at his head, and it says "Bang 316." And he's so traumatized by that, he pisses himself.
I remember that.
And everybody's just got. The time I watched that, I about pissed myself laughing so hard.
I can imagine. So, real quick, I wanted to bring this one up too. Virginia brought up the whole flag that pops out and says "POW," and that made me think of the Joker. Now,
oh yes,
up to this point, we've talked about very lighthearted examples of comedy, but comedy we all know can also go very, very dark. And at least in media, no one does it better than the Joker. Any version of the Joker, whether it's Mark Hamill, whether it's Jack Nicholson, whether it's Heath Ledger. We don't talk about Jared Leto
or Joaquin Phoenix.
I haven't seen him, so I can't comment.
Oh boy.
But again, almost any version of the Joker, that's it. He's scary, but he's a clown. He's funny. Like, for example, in the in Batman 89, when he reaches it into his waist to shoot down the Batwing, and he pulls out the giant revolver with a barrel like that long, and he's just holding it there, and he's expecting to shoot down the Batwing with that. Or I know they were trying to go for a more scary version of the Joker than funny in The Dark Knight, but again, just the wild way that Heath Ledger acted as the Dark Knight, or that one scene where he's walking out of the hospital and he's pushing the button and it's a delayed reaction. He's like, that was funny. And the best part is that wasn't even planned. That was a real reaction what he was doing.
So it looks like I'm the kind of guy who has a plan.
The guy that was doing the pyrotechnics goofed up. And he was slow on.
Exactly.
And that's why he's waiting.
Well, since we're on the subject of humor, let's take a trip down Steve-O's direction. Jackass
I know
Then-
nothing
Or-
about that.
or
Yeah,
Impractical Joe.
I don't entirely know it either, but yeah, we know some of the most infamous things they've done, like T-ball. Just
Jackass.
I don't wanna know.
Impractical Jokers.
yeah, let's just say they abuse their bits south of the border a lot on that show.
And that's another thing too. Not only can comedy go from lighthearted and innocent to very, very dark, it can
Yep.
also go from very clean and innocent to very, very raunchy.
Yep,
Mhm.
yep, literally.
Absolutely.
Most comedies we've seen, like some of the most famous comedies, like of course, Wedding Crashers, I Love You, Beth Cooper,
Mm-hmm.
the Hangover movies, Hot Tub Time
Oh,
Machine.
God.
Caddyshack.
Huh?
Kentucky
What?
Caddyshack.
Yep.
Yeah.
Back to
Kentucky Fried
school.
Movie.
Porky's, Animal House, American
Oh
Pie.
God, I was about to say that American Pie. What the hell?
Talladega Nights, kind of.
Oh God, Anchorman, Dodgeball.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And you know, and just real quick, just as a quick side note, you know what real life group has like the market corner on all of those types of comedy? Old man's with me on this one. Veterans. Veterans can take literally any situation, from the most lighthearted and clean to the most dark and raunchy, and make it funny.
You know, the one thing to do in movies, they show guys in the middle of a firefight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's lead being thrown all around, and you hear people screaming and crying. And one guy will turn to the guy next to him, and there'll be some kind of wisecrack.
Exactly.
You know, and it's for real. And I can tell you one that actually happened for real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a squad tent like that you had on MASH, that was being used in Nam for guys to stay in. And like in MASH, only 2 guys had it. Why? Because everything they had was in there.
Yeah.
And he got this beautiful wood door around it. Sandbags packed all around it. Well, in this one particular fire base, A101, they used to get 3 mortar rounds every day at 3 o'clock. It was called the 3 o'clock mail. Well, the guys in the one hooch tent was sitting there talking. They happened to glance and see the one of the guys with his little blanket and pillow heading for the bomb shelter.
Okay.
He goes, holy cats, I didn't realize it was that late. Jump up and run out of there. The last guy out slams the door behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Kaboom!
Oh, boy.
He turns around, he looks.
Classic.
The tent is gone, but the door frame is there, and so are the sandbags. He reaches over, he opens up the door and looks inside. Closes it. I don't think I should have. No, I don't think I should have slammed the door. And yeah, that's
Oh my goodness. I would have loved to have been there for that.
Well, another thing, since we were talking about Joker, let's go to Marvel. Deadpool. Oh
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah.
The-
That's another character that can pretty much run the gambit from clean innocent to dark and raunchy.
Well, it's like in the movies, like, stop! I only have 12 bullets, so you're gonna have to share.
Mhm. Or
And
this guy gets it. He wore the brown pants.
or freaking when he cuts off his arm trying to get away from Colossus, and then next thing you know, he gets out of there, and then Colossus looks over, and all he sees is just the middle finger.
Exactly.
We did some stunt at a place called the Stagecoach Gun Museum, and we'd do gunfights and show presentations. Well, we had a water tower out there. We thought how great it would be to have somebody come off the water tower. We dug a nice deep hole and put a swimming pool, one of these plastic swimming pool liners. and filled it up with water. Well, first show, we fire. He comes off the thing, goes all the way to the ground, and you hear thud. And we go, are you okay? Are you okay? He his hand weakly come up and kind of wave and go back down. Well, we had the thing out of there. We looked all over, patched everything we looked, even looked like a hole. Put it back in, filled it up with water. Second show, bang. He comes off of there, goes in there, thud. Are you all right? Are you all right? This time, only the middle finger came up.
Nice.
Oh yeah, all right. You basically.
Ouch.
Needless to say, we were supposed to do a third time. We didn't.
I gotcha.
I bet you were laughing your rear end off.
So,
Well, I was actually worried for him because that was he's coming off a water tower. That's a long
What?
fall in.
30 feet or so?
And
Minimum?
oh no.
Nice.
But the funny one, we laughed afterwards, but
Mhm.
one of the other ones we had there in the gunfights, we had this sheriff's office that sat at the end of the buildings, and it had an awning coming out on it. So in the gunfights, shoot John off the roof. He'd come down, he'd hit the awning, boom, boom, roll off and hit the ground.
Okay.
Well, we kind of expect things, make sure everything was okay. Well, he went up there one time, we pulled the trigger, he came off, he hit that awning, and the whole thing collapsed. Thud. He's laying there. Now, we had to restrain him big time. When this woman comes up holding one of these 8mm film cameras, I ran out of the film. Can you do that last part over again?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
I bet he was spitting mad when he heard that.
Oh, yeah. That poor guy, he got more garbage on him, John Bjorky. And, I had another John who's a big dude. And, the two of us are in the saloon, and we're going to do the preform for the gunfight.
Mm-hmm.
So in there, what do? You make all kinds of noise, everything else. And in the middle of it, we grab John Bjorky, throw him outside. He hits the hitching post. Hitching post breaks, and he lands in the street, rolling around. And that starts the big gunfight. Well, unfortunately for us, one day, something happened. We grab him, we throw him out there, we are crack.
Ooh.
Yeah, the hitching post broke. And there he's laying in the street like, ah.
Did he
As he
break
clapped,
a bone?
saw the hitching post was broken, and he replaced it with a real one. Oops. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. So then we're out there, and he's laying there in the street going, to make it look good and not let everybody know somebody got hurt. We grabbed the wheelbarrow, went over there, picked him up, threw him in the wheelbarrow, and rolled him off.
I'm sure that looked funny.
And there's his feet dangling over the end of it. Poor John.
So, leading from that, what would y'all say? And we're going to go around the horn, each of us here. What would y'all say is, in your opinion, the funniest movie that you've ever seen? For me, I'm probably going to say it's a tie between Spaceballs and Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And honestly, for the same reasons, because they're clearly spoofing two different things. Spaceballs was spoofing not just Star Wars, but a bunch of different sci-fi different things like Star Trek, a little bit of Planet of the Apes. Alien was in there a little bit too. Lone Star didn't look like Han Solo. He looked like Indiana Jones, which I believe was at the request of George Lucas. But the fact that they took the basically Star Wars, the framework of a Star Wars movie, and just went wild with it and had fun, and kind of did the same thing. By the way, hello, Trevor. Kind of did the same thing with Monty Python, where they were spoofing medieval type stories and just went crazy and hog wild with it. I just think it went really, really well with that. So let's see. Old man, what would you say the funniest movie in the world to you is?
Well, I am going to go with Spaceballs. I love that. You go into the space truck stop,
Mhm.
and what do you see parked up the parking lot? The Millennium Falcon.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
And you get that what the and you lose it. The other one is something that goes way back. It's called "It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World."
I'm not familiar.
I'm not surprised. It's an old movie,
Okay.
but the number of people that were in there was unbelievable. Practically everybody in there was a star of one type or another, either from movies or from television. You had Phil Silvers in there. You had uh, Sid Caesar, Imogene Coca,
Okay.
and it was insane. The thing starts out with Jimmy Durante driving like a lunatic down the road. The car goes off the road and crashes, and everybody stops and runs down there. They get down there, and he whispers something to him, and then you see his foot come up, and he hits the bucket that's sitting there, kicks it, and the bucket goes rolling down the hill. Yeah, he kicked the bucket.
Oh wow.
And it went on from there. I mean, they had Jonathan Winters in there.
He's funny by himself.
Spencer Tracy, not known to be a comedy actor.
Mhm.
So if you ever get a chance, again, I think if you look, you can either find it on YouTube Movies or on Tubi.
Okay.
It's a mad, mad world.
Okay. So let's call on Glenn now. Glenn, what would you say the funniest movie ever is?
Oh goodness me. I got so many favorites. I mean, spoof movies like Meet the Spartans, disaster movie, epic movie, and like you said, Spaceballs. But I was
Mhm.
also going to say, you said Monty Python and the Holy Grail, right?
Yes.
You got to be that. I mean, I like that movie, but you got to be drunker than skunk in order to understand the humor because it's that darn stupid.
Hi.
But I'd have to say my favorite.
It's British. What do you expect?
hmm But I'd have to say the funniest video movie I would say to my point of view. Oh God, I really honestly can't say because there's quite a few. But if I was gonna go ahead and I was gonna pick one out in particular, I'm gonna have to go with Meet the Spartans. I
Okay.
mean, it's from the spoof movies of like disaster movie, um, epic movie. It just Meet the Spartans spoofs like 300. They spoof freaking. They spoof freaking Grand Theft Auto in it. They spoof Shrek. Oh, good lord! They
That
even
seems
spoof
random.
Happy Feet. Yes, it's one of the most It's like one of the most random things. Like one of the most random movies, and it's may seem stupid to others, but it's funny to me.
Okay.
So, and if you were hearing the sirens going off in the background, that's because tornado warning here.
No. Whoa, are you okay? Are you
Yeah,
safe?
everything's all right. Yes, we're safe.
Okay, that's good. If and of course if the storm is getting near you and you have to disconnect, that's perfectly fine.
It's more
It's
southern of
absolutely.
us, so it's good.
All right, well anyways, let's go ahead and call on Jet Sparks now. Jet Sparks, what would you say
Yeah.
the funniest movie in the world is to you?
Well, I have the holy trifecta of comedy right here, all three of them. But if
Okay.
I will say, it's this that is literally the funniest and also the most quotable movie I've ever seen.
Oh god,
And it hits
I
I
never.
it
almost
hits even more
forgot that
so.
one.
Yeah, it was funny when I was a kid, but when I look at it as an adult now, it is like it's even more funny.
That is
I
one.
almost forgot that one, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's just so many visual cues in Robin Hood Men in Tights. The songs, just even some of the visual gags, and I still think one of the funniest characters, of course, out of everyone is Blinken.
Okay.
Guessing. I guess no one's coming. Just come down there, twit.
I
Where's
guess
the ladder?
I guess I just got to watch this thing to understand.
There we are.
Can I add to that, Jet Sparks?
I can see. No, that was wrong.
Hey, can I add to that, Jet Sparks? You remember the Jew part where he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Jew," and they're like, "God bless you."
A Jew, bless you. A Jew? Here? No, not a Jew. A Chew. That's my name, man. A Chew.
All
And of
right.
course, you got
So
Dave Chappelle.
Yes, I mean, come on, he's perfect. He's just too good in this.
all right, let's bring Trevor in here now. Trevor looking very hungry, I got to say.
I figured
Yeah, the
being the
bite.
name of, I figured being the name of the game was comedy, I would enter with my stuffed bat's head in my mouth.
Yes. So for those that don't know, Trevor's girlfriend Ella got him a Christmas present of a stuffed bat from the Ozzy Osbourne website where you can bite its head off.
Oh,
Oh, that's cute.
Nice
Yeah,
fatality.
just as long as it's not Kenny McCormick's head.
But anyways, Trevor, what would you say the most funniest movie in the world is to you?
I don't watch a whole lot of movies, and when I do, they're not generally comedy. It's more like Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts, stuff like that. I watch a good deal of shows, though. I gotta say, the original Teen Titans definitely had its fair share of funny moments.
Mhm.
I'd say the funniest show to me would have to be SpongeBob, especially more so as an adult because you get all the like hidden adult references.
Right? Like Mr.
Um,
Krabs living in a place called Bikini Bottom.
yep. And SpongeBob having a friend named Sandy Cheeks.
Hmm.
So might be a bit of a cheater move because I don't watch movies, but I'm just gonna name SpongeBob as the funniest show to me. I love to play a lot of funny games too, and I gotta say the No More Heroes games are full of gags.
What?
Ball.
Bald, bald, my eyes!
Hey, Paul.
It's otaku protagonist trying to get laid with a chick who's way out of his league.
Jet Sparks is exactly right. Hey,
Mhm.
Paul in Virginia, remember how I left work today? I drove by you guys with my passenger window down, and I was like, "Wait."
Yes.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
But Glenn, I think
Firmly grasp it in your hands.
I think we had this discussion in the TDK Discord a couple days ago. I was telling Glenn about my favorite like funny moment in the whole No More Heroes franchise, which was in No More Heroes 2, when Travis was about to face off against that football player assassin with all of his cheerleaders, and Travis is just like, "You're gonna fight me with all your hoes?"
Yeah.
Hands down, my favorite comedy moment in the entire No More Heroes franchise. It was perfect. But yeah, I'm sorry if I cheated by going off to a show and a video game, but I don't watch a lot of movies, and they're not normally comedies when I do. But Monty Python, I have seen it a couple times. It's really, really good.
Which one? Life of Brian, Holy Grail.
Holy Grail.
Spam a lot.
I saw Holy Grail.
Just a harmless little bunny, isn't it?
I fought in your general direction.
Your mother was a
Blazing.
hamster, and your father smelt of elderberry.
I gotta bring up this tab real quick. Trevor is the only one that's gonna get this, but just as like since you mentioned gaming, Trevor, how could I not mention this moment?
How Morgana got so excited over treasure.
What's happening to him?
Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
Cool.
It's like Morgana gets.
Wowee! Being a human is great. it's shiny gold.
Paul, you might want to cut that out before you get copyright.
So what? I don't care. I'll cut it there.
All right. For legal reasons, we do not own Persona 5 Royal.
Yep.
But, okay, there's two funny moments in that. Number one, Morgana apparently gets sexually excited over treasure. Number two, An just picks him up and yeets him, and he turns into a van, and then he's just like, you shouldn't throw animals, damn it.
Exactly. So,
And again,
real quick, Virginia says in the chat, if anyone needs to know, the castle Holy Grail takes place in sells coconuts in the gift shop.
Okay, cool.
Brother.
So let's flip the script for a second here and talk about when comedy doesn't work, or when comedy is bad. So what in your mind, guys, makes a joke or a comedy thing not work? Trevor.
Okay, I feel like this could go either way. It depends on how it's executed, but sometimes in a game or any media, really, when you're about to face off against like the most intimidating villain ever, and then suddenly there's just a gag out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on how it's executed, as I said.
Right.
But sometimes it just doesn't work and it kills the entire threatening mood.
Okay. Can you give an example?
Like, I remember the first time I faced off against Master Koga in Breath of the Wild. Now, we all know he is a joke. Let's be honest.
Yes.
But when I first saw him, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely in for something. And then it turns out he's a total joke. And the entire intimidation just went completely out the window.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best example I can come up with right off the top of my head, but I know there are plenty others. Oh,
Okay.
wait. Actually, scratch that. Never mind.
I can definitely think of one instance where comedy doesn't work, and that is if you're trying to make a joke about a topic that's still very, very sensitive. Like, for example,
Yeah.
and I'm using this only as an example, if you were to make a joke about what happened, say, on September 11th, right after it happened, people would obviously boo you out of the building. It's why the expression "too soon" exists. Heck, you can make a joke about 9/11 today, and some people might still say "too soon."
Well,
Or-
in my opinion, that is something that should never be joked about to begin with.
Right. Like
Yeah.
part of so yeah, there's obviously the point of humor is to take something negative, be it mundane or tragic, and put a positive spin on it, but there are just some things you can't. And yes, that what happened that day is one of those. Or say or really any like super tragic event where people lost lives due to anything, really. Like, what's some other examples, guys?
death in the family is a definite one.
Funny.
Yeah, but some people
Watch
really
it.
wouldn't care,
Quick,
wouldn't
guys.
care because
Old
they're just
man was trying to say something.
sorry.
The only time some of that stuff about tragedy and that
Mm-hmm.
it becomes funny is the Darwin Awards. Let's face it, some of those people you check out in the weirdest way.
Right. I mean, okay, someone does something stupid and it gets them killed. Yes, obviously it's sad. It's a loss of life. But at the same time, yeah, they were doing something stupid and got what, and yet, well, I'm not going to say got what they deserve, but nature took its course.
Yeah.
There's a bit of humor in that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done.
And lack of
Sorry
brain.
about-
Yes.
I'm sorry, Jet Sparks. I didn't mean to talk over you, dude.
No, I'm just saying, as more. I mean, yeah, even though a person dies horribly in a dumb way, but even though we can't help but laugh at how that person died, but it does always feel kind of morbid in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's why
I mean,
the Sci-Fi Channel for a while ran a docufiction series called 1,000 Ways to Die.
Yeah, in some of those ways, they've always went over like what happened and how it would affect the person and stuff.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna go. Yep,
Yeah,
but I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna jump up off here for the night. So you guys have a good rest of the stream.
Thanks for
All
joining
right.
us, Glenn.
You
Be
must
safe,
take
Glenn.
Yep.
Be
See you guys.
safe. Be safe. Let us know when that tornado warning's over.
Yes.
All right, later, dudes.
All right, see ya. If I may,
Go ahead.
kind of piggybacking off of what they just said, there have been times when I've done things that are downright stupid and gotten hurt because of it. And in the moment, I was like, that hurt. But later on, I kind of laughed it off, and I was like, okay, I was a complete moron. I got what I deserved.
Yeah.
I, as a young man, proved stupidity. I was on my bicycle, and the train was coming. I wanted to get to the other side, and I played chicken that I could get across before the train could get at me. Well, I made it to the other side, but the train actually took the reflector off the back of my bicycle.
Oh.
Ooh. Wow.
So you just barely made it. That could have gotten terrible very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so yeah, there's a lot of that stuff that happens that people don't understand. I mean, you make a left turn when you should have made a right.
At Albuquerque.
Yeah. All right, I got one for you. There was one time when I was still in Navy. I was in Okinawa. I was driving back to the barracks where I was staying at the time on White Beach Naval Base. And I was literally, it was like the last turn before getting into the parking lot of the barracks. I don't even remember what I was doing. I guess I was looking ahead at the parking lot, trying to figure out my stop. And I turned the wheel way too soon and start going into the grass, nearly driving into a ditch. The whole time I'm doing this, there's two Navy security patrolmen watching me.
Oh.
Now, thankfully, they knew me and they didn't do anything but ask, "Hey, you okay, man?" I was like, "Yeah, sorry, wasn't paying attention." But if they didn't know me, excuse me, I could definitely see the case of them being like, "Has that guy been drinking?"
I know you, and I still would have wondered that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Well, you know what? Well, you know what I say to that, Trevor.
All right, youngster, out you go.
Don't come back. Ever.
Uh-oh.
You know,
I'm kidding.
I know.
Yeah,
When I was-
that's one there, Paul. I'm pretty sure 95% of the people I see on the road probably think I'm driving too slow, or I'm probably driving like I'm drunk.
My mom literally spotted me driving with my AirPods in yesterday.
Did she get on you for it?
She texted me, but I still do it.
I mean,
you leave one out of it.
There's one, here, this is something that, okay, you guys would love to see just my facial expressions when this happens. When my
Yeah.
mom drives, she is almost always going at least 10 miles below the speed limit, and it drives me batty.
Batty enough.
More so than this thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it drives me insane so much. But you can just see my face and be like, yep, he's going to blow a gasket. I'm a chronic speeder. I'm almost always going at least 5 over the speed limit and 10 on a really good day.
Yeah.
When I was in jump school in the Army, yes, I was Army, not Marine, not Air Force, none of that. I was Army. Anyway, they take you up for your qualifying jump, and you got a tether line on it and everything else, and you go off the back end of a 130. They lower the ramp, you go out there. Now, the one thing they always tell you is, well, remember, you got to jump. You don't jump. About halfway down that gate, you're sucked off. Okay, and you're falling to the ground. Well, I went off. I went all the way to the ground, perfect, no problem. Oh, I should tell you this. The smart blankety blank blanks, when they know you're making your first jump, when they slam the parachute down in front of you, they tell you, if it doesn't open, bring it back, we'll give you a new one.
Mm-hmm.
So there I hit the ground. Oh, yeah, I fold up the chute, go, yeah. I'm sitting there watching, and I see one guy come out, and I'm waiting, it don't open. Oh no. And the static line snapped, and he went down into the woods.
Oh.
Everybody runs out there, expected to pick up the pieces.
Can I play a really quick? I think I still have it. I got to play a really quick clip for that, old man.
Glory, what a hell of a way to die. Glory, what a hell of a way to die. Glory, what a hell of a way to die. He ain't gonna jump no more. You ain't a kidding, baby. They all go running in, and they drove out there with Jeeps and deuce and a halves and you name it. Guys were running out there. Suddenly, out of the woods comes one guy. He runs out. He jumps in a Jeep. He takes off. Well, ooh, what's that all about? A few moments later, a bunch of others all come out. They jump in the deuce of halves and the other Jeep. They all take off after the first one. What happened? The guy got back to the supply hut. Walked in there, threw his parachute on the counter, and says, give me a new one. It didn't open. He lived. He had a broken collarbone, and needless to say, he was not too sharp up here anymore. But can you imagine? He hit those trees and he hit a full light coming down.
Ooh.
And lived. And then actually, he remembered that, bring it back, we'll give you a new one. He did. He brought it back in. Give me a new one. It didn't open.
Wow.
Yeah, he's lucky. Like the hand of God had to have been on him to survive that. Yes, Trevor. Oh, okay. I guess he's gonna come back. Anyways, Virginia says in the chat here, most girls ask their boyfriend if he would love her if she was a worm. Ask Paul about him being a worm not once but twice. Well, Virginia, this is all I can say to that.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I'll play it one more time. I turned the volume up. It's the Sardaukar chant from Dune.
Oh.
Nate, I hope you saw the gory, what a hell of a way to die clip.
I'm sorry for suddenly dipping like that. For some reason, my AirPods and my phone both started to act up at the same time.
That's fine, but I get it.
Am I the only one that was dumb and jumped out of perfectly good airplanes?
I certainly didn't when I was in the service.
Well, you didn't have to. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be infiltrating from anywhere. You're going to be going from under the water.
That is true, but I was always landside,
Yeah.
so
Some of my stuff actually caused me to go and dive into the water. I had to get out of the parachute, get clear of everything so it doesn't strangle me and kill me, and then swim away and come up to the surface, or take the oxygen tanks, which are on my chest, bring them around to my back, put them on, and swim underwater for a little ways. Now,
Hmm.
the only thing I was always afraid of back then was that I could, get something wrong and drown. Nowadays, if I try that stunt, I'm going to be afraid of two things.
Mhm.
One, if I make it to the shore, Greenpeace is going to throw me back into the water yelling beach whale. And if I'm out there in the water too long, some whalers are going to try and harpoon my ass.
I'm not sure if I'm too
mean-
old. If I'm probably too old to probably like apply now, but I would probably only join the military as a last resort, only as like a last resort. If like everything in my life, everything in life just really goes down the tubes.
Well, I'm gonna address that in just a second, real quick, Jet Sparks. But I want to say this to Nate. He says, "I came in right in the middle of the clip, and jumping out of good aircraft sounds counterproductive. Please, Nate, your family was Air Force." But real quick, Jack Sparks, on that point, joining the military is definitely a worthwhile investment on your life if you want to better yourself, better your life, and actually be part of something that's actually meaningful. And I would recommend to anyone watching, if you wanted to join the military, it's worth it. Go talk to a recruiter, find out more if you can, and of course decide if that's right for you. And real quick, Virginia says, did you know the reason it's called a Boeing is because that's the noise the wheels make when they hit the ground?
Well, these days I'd be awfully doubtful of that. A lot of things keep
Yeah.
falling off, Boeing.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they keep. It's because they can't. It's because they're hiring people just because they don't want to be seen as a certain letter in the alphabet that starts with
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
going DEI.
Yeah, just like guys, seriously. I of all people believe in meritocracy here. If you are good at what you do, you should get the job. Don't give it to somebody who just like, oh yeah, are you this? You're hired. Sir, are you this? You're hired. Just guys, I
No.
seriously want to just walk up and just
Yes, Trevor.
slap
I
you
ever
guys.
need-
No.
I ever
Yeah,
need
I'm
heart
actually-
surgery.
Trevor.
I'm going to
I'm
fly
actually
down to
gonna-
Florida and have this big 6'4", 300-pound black guy operate on my heart because he's the best there is. That's not prejudice. I'm just trying to save my ass.
With respect, old man, I was trying to give the floor to Trevor there.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna. You're right, dude. I'm gonna piggyback off of what Jet Sparks. I don't think he's that direction. I think he's that direction.
Mhm.
Yep. I'm gonna piggyback off of what he said. That's actually the reason why I don't want to leave the job I currently have. I'm good at it and I love it. Why would I want to leave something that I've got both of those perks in?
Exactly, but that's kind of the whole point. People will like say, "Oh yeah, we're letting you go, and we're gonna give this job to this other person who has like no experience whatsoever." Like, guys, come on, youth is never really never a sign of talent. I mean, if the guy went to freak, but then again, that's kind of like a slippery slope. You could go to college and learn nothing at all, and you could literally just be street smart and you could be an absolute genius.
All right, I'm gonna stop the talk on all of that there. I'm looking back to the topic of comedy. Speaking
How
of,
about you in the caves?
say again?
How about you as a troglodyte?
Oh, yeah, that's right, Trevor. Did I ever tell you about that? That old man called us troglodytes.
He called the what?
Troglodytes, cave dwellers.
No.
That's apparently what we are, according to old man.
Okay. No.
But anyways,
I don't know if you. Oh, sorry.
Transitioning that though, and Virginia said because it's a rocky job, that kind of transitions into my personal favorite type of comedy, And Trevor, you knew this was coming. Puns. Just
Indeed.
stupid, lowbrow puns.
Before we get into the puns, can I say something that I think is extremely funny in any kind of media?
Yeah.
Randomness. Like, out of left field, completely irrelevant randomness never fails to get me cackling like a hyena.
Then you should watch the movie Rubber. That'll test that theory.
Or watch Teen Titans
Noted.
Go.
Yeah, I used to love that show. I love the original Teen Titans far more. But Go has its perks.
But anyways, just lowbrow, cheap puns are like my favorite type of comedy, whether it's in entertainment or whether it's in real life. Like earlier today, that's pretty much all of what like the last 10 minutes of my lunch break consisted of with Trevor. Like, what were some of the ones? Like, we had our one colleague, Cheyenne. She was up there, and every single time we said a bad pun, she was like, "Get out! The door is right there."
So, Paul, don't spoil any of these jokes, please.
Okay.
So, Jet Sparks an old man. Do you guys know what snowmen do on their days off?
They just chill.
That's exactly what it is. Did you guys know I used to be addicted to soap, but now I'm clean?
Yeah, my friend Bears would literally be laughing his head off. He loves those kind of like bad jokes.
Virginia says, "I must ask you a question, Paul, but I'll shave it for later."
Yeah.
Funny. Or here's one. I said this one earlier. The other day, I got into a conversation with Trevor's girlfriend, Ella, about how she could beat him in a fight, but I don't know. I think he could whoop her. And on that note, where is the clip?
Malicious Whooper's the cutest of all.
Oh, boy.
The inside joke with that one is that Whooper is Trevor's least favorite Pokemon, and I like to troll him with it.
Anyway. Now, I know one that I got on a lot of people's nerves at work with. Actually, two jokes were pickle jokes. Because we have a motto at work, give them the pickle. To which I say, I hate pickles, but I guess I can deal with it.
Oh, that's a good one.
And then a few of them rolled their eyes at me with the, that like, oh, that was so bad look on their face. But then I said, hey, jokes like this are my bread and butter.
Yeah. But it's important to...
Sorry, go ahead. No, I'm sorry, but yeah. Koosh, yeah, I'm pretty sure my friend Bear64, you guys would be laughing up a storm together if you were, because he absolutely loves puns. In fact, he gives them out myself. Much to the point where I can't even bear to listen to all the stuff all those jokes he puts out sometimes. I can't even bear to listen to it.
Oh, good grief. With all this stuff about pickles, are you guys trying to cucumber us?
Oh, that's a good one. But here's the thing, though, with this type of humor, as much as I love it, I also recognize that it's a brand of humor that's only good in small doses.
Yeah.
Because Trevor and I have a coworker who shall remain nameless that will take rock puns, because we work at a caverns. He'll take rock puns and he'll just go off the deep end with it. Like one after another, until you're like, dude, we get it. You work in a cave.
Until we're like...
Not literally.
You know what you do?
No, not literally.
When you're down in there with the people, you guys start breaking out the we will rock you.
I'm surprised none of us thought of that one, old man. That's good. But no, he would make jokes about how he liked rock music played by the Rolling Stones. He liked to drink Rolling Rock. He would say rock on to the guests.
Here's one I'm surprised he hasn't used yet. You know what actor we need to come represent us? The Rock.
True. Nate says rock puns are rock bottom of puns. Yes, they are. And Virginia's like, don't encourage it.
But the thing is, I know this stream is kind of like to discuss, funny things and what makes such and such funny. But to give a little bit of life philosophy in a life that is just generally depressing and working against you, you need humor to get by in today's day and age. And I dare any one of you to tell me I'm wrong.
No.
Yep, but again, humor is something that people don't like. We know the whole thing. Misery loves company, but again, humor can liven in any bad situation and make it slightly positive.
Real quick before we get into that, because that's going to be like our closing topic there, Jet Sparks. Blazerhawk Darren, by the way, hello. He says puns are good if you're single. When you get married and have kids, you elevate to dad jokes. And old man, I'm sure you know all about that.
That is the joke right there.
I'm sure. So that last thing that you just said there, okay, real quick, Nate says dark humor is what keeps me going at dark moments. We have a brand new person that just joined the panel. Say hello to Bling Bun. No, absolutely not. No.
Oh dear.
You are not doing that on this stream.
Well, there's the daily heart attack. I hope you
heart attacks your career real quick.
Yeah, and don't worry, he's banned. He's not coming back in here.
Oh, that's a relief. It saves me having to kill him.
I know.
Well,
it's
thank
kind
you for having my back, holding hand on that.
I got your back as well.
Me too.
But anyways,
the problem is these days, too many people want to use profane language. And a big part of it strikes me, is they have a lack of mental education and creativity. Instead of going and I'm going to kick that guy's rear end, shouldn't you say you're going to perform corrective therapeutic mayhem?
Okay, corrective therapeutic mayhem. I like that.
Yeah, I should start using that more.
It's taking the higher ground. I mean, I had somebody come up to me and just swear the daylights at me. And I looked at him and I says, okay, that had no effect on me. What have you got in reserve? Because obviously you don't have the mental capacity to understand that you yourself are an insignificant microbe.
Yeah.
Now that tells you right there how intelligent they are.
Exactly. Blazerhawk Darren says, what kind of music does a boulder like? Rock and roll. So
sorry, but that was just bad.
Oh boy.
And that's coming from someone who cracks that joke on almost a daily basis.
Exactly. So last topic I want to get into before we end the stream for the night is you kind of brought this up, Jet Sparks, is that a lot of comedians, specifically stand-up comedians, I've seen are becoming more and more scared of telling actual funny jokes. And there seems to be this, of course, movement going on in entertainment. We have documented it before, of wanting to be as least offensive to people as possible. And we already established that comedy is like a defense mechanism and it's always had at the expense of someone else. So what do you think the best counteraction to this is? Like, how do we keep things funny so that we can still laugh?
I mean,
this is afraid.
You don't want my opinion on this one. Well, you do want it, but probably not on stream.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure about this because All right, I'll let old man go.
Some of the funniest black jokes I've ever heard were told by a black friend of mine who's a doctor.
Okay.
Some of the funniest Asian Oriental jokes told to me came from, guess what? Yeah, he was Chinese. Okay. Some of the best Indian jokes I had told to me was from an Indian who informed me I'm a feather, not a dot.
Okay.
And I'm sitting someplace, somebody's absolutely going crazy on telling Norwegian jokes. And somebody goes, "Oh, gee, that's terrible. It's offensive." Da, da, da. I looked at him and I go, "Oh, are you Norwegian?" "Well, no. What are you?" "I'm Italian." "Then shut up. I'm Norwegian."
Exactly the point. It's like, why do these people have every right to get offended on somebody else's behalf? This is something like you don't speak for another person. You don't speak for anyone else's culture. You don't. You are not one of them yourself. Come on, bro.
And
Sometimes it's fun to make it just point and laugh at yourself. Sometimes. Why do you think people make fun of you woke people all the time? You woke people all the time. It's so easy. I mean, even though Daily Wire kind of messed it up, but they were trying.
True.
DEI, you know what it stands for?
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
No, it says it didn't earn it.
That's a good one. All right. I think on that one we're gonna go ahead and shut it down for the night. Trevor, you had one more thing to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the nicest way I can put it that I know I won't upset someone. We currently live in a world where everyone is looking for not everyone, but a lot of people are looking for every reason to be offended. And the way for comedy to make a grand comeback is that needs to stop. People need to, I don't know a nice way to put it, so I'm not going to say it, but you guys probably
learn
know
how
what I'm
to
getting at.
basically grow thick skin and take it.
Yes. Like when you hear a joke, chances are it's not aimed at you, and on top of that, it is literally just for comedy. Nobody's actually being made fun of in any malicious way.
Right.
Paul,
Real quick,
you can.
Can I just highlight something that you just said?
Yeah.
It's why rule number 1 and why I did what I did earlier to ban that guy. That was a severe violation of rule number 1 of these rules that I have in place for pop-ins. Because the whole no malicious jabs and insults will be tolerated. If you're making jokes directly at someone and there's like no obvious punchline, that's not a joke. That's an insult.
Exactly. And I mean, Paul, you would know this better than anybody. At work with our coworkers or in TDK, we're always poking fun at each other, but it's never in a malicious way. We make sure we know it's a joke, and sometimes we just retort right back, and it just becomes an outright joke war.
Exactly. But what the guy did that popped in here, letting off slurs, no, don't do that.
That is not tolerable in any way.
Exactly. So,
I mean, through the course of this stream, have any of the four of us or Glenn said anything alluding to anything like that?
Nope.
Are you sure, Trevor?
Shut up, Nate. Yes, I'm sure. No. What you got? No. Old man and Jet Sparks. What Nate will do is he'll just rapid fire. Are you sure? Are you sure you're sure? What are you sure about? And then he'll just keep on going until it drives me mentally nuts.
I've been victim
of
this.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Are you sure you're asking the right question?
Yes.
Positive?
Good job, Trevor. Look what you started.
Yeah. And I'm not sorry.
So yeah. I think on the whole, this was a great stream. And of course, thank you to everyone here that's been part of it, plus the people that popped in earlier. Glenn, thank you for popping in. Before we go, as always, Thank you, Trevor, for your act of violence.
I have
Jet
to.
Sparks, anything you want to plug coming up?
No, not at the moment. I'm just happy to be collabing, being on other people's streams like yours, Paul, being on people with like Raquel's streams, being on with like Potato Revan, and just like just trying to be involved. And again, I would like to collaborate on my own videos, but right now I don't feel like I really have the drive to do stuff on my own channel, even though I literally am everywhere, or at least on most platforms, but just trying to focus on the one passion in life that I'm trying to focus on, and that is writing, and trying to trying to create the kind of things that people would want to read, or maybe someday even watch. Just actual good entertainment. Actually take you guys on a journey instead of trying to rely on some of the most cheap sort of things that you were trying to retain an audience or something.
Yes.
That's just who I am.
Yes, Trevor.
Jet Sparks, let me give you a little advice that I've learned through my time as a writer. Make sure you're motivated and make it feel like your pencil or your keyboard is just doing the work by itself, like metaphorically, of course. If you're not motivated and if you feel like you're dragging, the product is not gonna be what you hope it is. Don't force yourself and just do it as the mood strikes.
Yeah, I am trying to do that. I know, and there are times where I'm just kind of stuck, and I know I try to do it. I know I've gotten there at points, and I know, but I know I have been in a really great groove to do and write more. So, and I know I kind of have that clear frame of mind now to do it.
But yeah, from one writer to another, I just wanted to hopefully give you a bit of a boost and just give you a little bit of constructive advice.
Exactly.
All right.
Thank you.
So with that,
problem.
Yes, old man, you had something to say?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes your mind travels so fast you can't keep up typing. So if you got a computer,
Yeah.
put it into voice to text.
I do it. I do that.
Just do it that way. Don't care what's coming up on the screen. When you get done, go back and correct it for spelling, grammar, and what have you. But you got what you were thinking on the screen for you. You got your story told. And you did it in one shot.
Mm-hmm.
Remember,
He
be
brings
politically
correct. So, coming up here on Fandomology, starting May 1st, there's going to be a Smash tournament that I'm going to be broadcasting on behalf of TDK. It's going to be an item tournament, so all items turned on high. That's going to be fun. We're going to present it as if it is a professional wrestling tournament, myself and Trevor being the commentators here. And I'm definitely looking forward to that. Also Wednesday the 1st, remember, that's going to be okay, I just realized I accidentally double booked myself because Wednesday the 1st, I know, I'm really bad at this. I just realized Wednesday the 1st is both the beginning of the Smash tournament and when I was supposed to do the next part of my Return of the King stream with Phil. So I got to talk to both parties on this and get this sorted out. So Phil, if you're watching, be expecting a message from me. Same with you, Chris. But anyways, aside from that, we'll be having another beginner series on Thursday, guest and topic to be determined. And then, of course, we will be having another open panel this coming Friday. Again, topic to be determined. But in the meantime, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. And we will see you guys later. The Force is family.